I'm Maura Grogan, and I am currently living in both New Mexico and Arizona. Used to have a home in Montana and Arizona, and we've just recently moved to New Mexico for getting out of the Tucson heat in the summer. So, but I'm still part of the Montana Idaho SAQA group. And I've been quilting for 28 years. Started out doing traditional quilting like many people and have moved into art quilting pretty much exclusively over the last 6 years. I've always loved fiber and handwork since I was a little girl. Used to do crochet and needlepoint and other stuff. And one time I was visiting a friend and she was making a quilt and I said, "Show me how to do that. I've always been interested." And I became obsessed from that day and just have been quilting ever since. And art quilts, I think, well, I've taken from some fabulous teachers across the country, but I think mostly I just wanted to challenge myself more than you can with just following somebody else's pattern, even if you make up your own patterns. And so I joined SAQA and started really pushing myself to create art quilts. Well, I'm in my workspace right now. I'm lucky since I have two homes, I have two almost identical studios. I've set them up the same. So I sew on a regular, sit down sewing machine, a Bernina. And I have, of course, other sewing. I have four sewing machines, I think. Um, and, just typical. Uh, a design wall, which you can see behind me, a cutting table, storage. You can see my iron. It's right here. So, just the usual stuff. And I buy things as I need them to try out new things, paints, different textiles, etc. I For art quilts, I do tend to start with an idea from a photograph about a place I care about. And so I don't try to replicate it exactly, but I blow up the photograph. I use a internet product called Rapid Resizer to blow it up to the size that I'm interested in. And then from there, start picking fabric and then start building the quilt, which I usually do and redo at least 3 times before I'm happy with it. I got to go on a fiber arts trip in March of 24, and one of the cities we visited was Kyoto, and we had a morning off, and I had read about this um, Zen garden that had been in place since 1450. And in its current it was started in 1450. It's been in its current location since the mid 1500s. And I just was fascinated by that concept. And so went to visit. And I was the only person there for about an hour. And I just sat and looked at the trees and the raking of the gravel and the whole thing. And it was just so stunning that I took a bunch of pictures. And the reason that my quilt is round is that one of the things that I noticed in Japan is that the sewer manhole covers are all decorated, like everything in Japan. Nothing is left to just basic, let's plop out another manhole cover. They all have these beautiful decorations. And so I took pictures of a bunch of manhole covers and I did another quilt of a manhole cover that's also round. And at some point, I'm thinking that I may combine the two and have the manhole cover sort of able to be opened. And then you could see the garden underneath, but I haven't made the mechanics of that yet. But anyway, so that's the final plan, but you're seeing the interim. Um, I'm honored to be with other artists who at that Montana, Idaho contingent has some really talented people. And so I'm honored to be part of that. I'm also honored to be in a museum that is dedicated to a variety of art, not just quilts, and that we get to show our work in Utah, which is a neighboring state. So there, it's all a benefit to me as an artist and to me as part of this group. I take away some of the serenity that I experienced when I was sitting there for the hour that I got to just sit quietly and look, and maybe have another way of appreciating some of the incredible artistry that Japan offers the world. Join SAQA and go to your local quilt store and take some lessons. Learn how to do it.
Awesome.
And don't be afraid. Just jump right in. It's only fabric. That's what I tell myself. It's only fabric. And yes, it's precious, but it's not that precious. And have fun with it. I feel like it's a relatively new challenge for myself, calling myself an artist. And I finally feel like maybe I've earned that title. Um, it I think all of us are creative on some level, but very few of us have a chance to really exercise it. And I'm so happy that, now I'm retired from finance and I have time and resources to really try to reinvent myself. And it's a lovely thing to be able to do at my age. And I'm just so happy that I have this opportunity.